Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic day. My name's Robert. I'm here with the Hustle Nation. We're all about creating some financial independence so we get our time back. I talk to people and I ask questions, and as far as what is it they do with their money, so to speak, and what their views are. If you don't understand exactly what is going on, especially in the United States, basically we are taught how to be good employees from age, basically everything up to 12th grade teaches you how to show up on time and how to get along with others. Basically, weak mind, strong back. Okay. There's nowhere that they teach you how money works. They don't teach you how to create a whole second income. They don't teach you how to create financial independence where you're not dependent on a job to be able to survive or have a business. I going into my 10th year of not working for anybody. Everything that I do is a direct result of me taking action. If I don't do anything, I don't get paid, to a certain degree. I do have a lot of rental property, or I guess that's all perspective, but I do have rental property. So if, for lack of better words, if I stop working and don't do anything, then I still have money coming in. The thing about it is that what it is that I have done is not hard. It's very simple, but it's definitely not easy. And the biggest thing that I see with people is they're just not willing to sacrifice. And it comes down to you're only going to do this game one or two ways, okay? You're either going to buy rental property some way, somehow, okay? Might be a single family home, duplex, trailer park, RV park, storage facility, could be a billboard, okay? You can do an ebook. Ebook is electronic real estate. Do the book one time, and then what happens? Boom, you can sell it 50 million times for the next 10,000 years. Okay, so it's there and it's done, and you can keep on selling it, and that's real estate. Okay, the thing about it is, and the other way is you invest in dividend-paying stocks, mutual funds, ETFs. Okay. Bitcoin you can get rich off of, and I'm speaking out of ignorance because I don't own any, but I don't know any way to buy a Bitcoin and then get paid monthly on it. Okay. It's basically, my understanding is it's like you buy it, hold on to it. If it goes up and you sell, then you made some money. And so the thing about it is that so often people, they have businesses, they're successful at it. The problem is that they don't take any of that money out of action, okay, and then put it into something that will start paying them on a regular basis. And really the only thing that's going to do that is going to be real estate or dividend-paying stocks, or I guess the term would be equity, a mutual fund or ETF or something like that. And that's one of the things that I've started doing, is putting money into some ETFs, because I want to create a whole nother income that in 20 years, I'm 53, 25 years, if I have to go into a nursing home, then, it's probably going to be 10 to 15,000 a month. I want something that's going to make that payment. And it's not that the real estate's not going to do that and everything. However, I self-manage everything, and I'm sitting there thinking about it. If I'm at a point where I can't drive, okay, that's going to be very difficult to manage the properties and go around to them. And if I can't drive, then I can't go around to them, even if I turn them over to a property management company to make sure that they're doing their job. And you can only imagine the nightmares that I've heard and been told about from people that got property management companies, because they all seem to be real good about taking your money but not putting forth any action or effort, and just calling you and saying, yep, we got the check, as far as inspections, lucky if you get one every 60 or every 6 months, just things of that nature. So it's, like I said, this whole thing is about creating a monthly income, and it could be once a year, and if you're able to get, we'll say a big lump sum and be able to have the discipline to not use a bunch of it at one time, and so that it will last you throughout the year, that's fine as well. Okay, don't get wrapped up in the time and everything, but they even have ETFs that pay on a weekly basis. So can you imagine creating an income that you're making 1,000, 1,500 extra a week? That would be awesome. And it's totally doable, folks. It really is. And the thing that I see again with people is that this whole wealth game is totally about mindset, and you're going to have to go through a huge transformation. And there's going to be so many different facets of this thing that you're going to learn about, in the sense of, one, first off, you're going to have to take action, and it's more than 40 hours a week. Okay, I've never met anybody that's in a position that I want to trade places with that's only worked 40 hours a week. Talked to my buddy Gerald Peters yesterday. What he was doing? He was doing some editing on his newsletter. He was doing some other things and everything. But yeah, Sunday he's working. Okay, I was on my way to Home Depot. Yeah, I was working too. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, okay? Life's a trade. We all make choices, okay? My choice is that I'm willing to put in the effort right now while I am physically able to, okay? Because tomorrow's never guaranteed. And for me to think that the opportunities that I have today, God will give me them again tomorrow, is pretty arrogant. There is no guarantees, folks, right? You get 168 hours every week, just the same as Elon Musk, Bill Gates. What you do with them is what separates us, okay? Thing about it is, it comes down to making those small, action-oriented tasks that we do on a daily basis that starts going into the investment account, and that starts to grow over time. And it's not going to happen overnight. And that's where most people fall off, is that it's not happening overnight. And they lose momentum, they lose their steam, and then they're out, so to speak. And the thing about it is that it is, for me, has been probably the most rewarding journey I've ever embarked on. Besides, I'm a recovering drug addict. I got clean years ago. And that's been extremely enlightening. And a lot of that, amazingly enough, is the same principles and actions that has to be taken place for a person to become financially successful, in the sense of, you have to learn discipline, you have to be obedient, you have to keep your hand out of the cookie jar, you can't be going to the dope man, you can't be hanging out on the corner if you want to stay clean. Well, if you want to build wealth, you can't be out spending money every time you make some. And there's distractions all over, depending on what it is that, for lack of better words, is your poison, per se. It can be sex, it can be gambling, it can be new shoes, it can be four-wheel drive, it could be, new hunting rifle, new kitchen, new dress, whatever it is, okay? There's distractions all out there to relieve you of your money. And it is, as John Hope Bryant said, it's about cash flow. Cash flowing in, cash flowing out, and your overhead's going to eat you alive if you don't learn how to make money while you are sleeping. And so the thing about it is that that's what is absolutely necessary. And, the first thing that somebody can do is to start tracking their expenses. I keep track of mine as far as how much money I spend at a convenience store every day, stopping getting drinks and whatnot, how much I spend on eating out, how much I spend at the grocery store, how much I spend on gas. And that way, whatever it is that we measure, we have the ability to change, because we know what the number is. And the thing about it is that people don't want to do that work. They don't want to make that sacrifice. And I get it, okay? But everything that I have ever had a desire for is always on the other side of discipline and obedience. And that focus of this is what the goal is, and then day in and day out working towards that so that I make progress that way, that's what's worked for me. So where am I at? Since the last time I did a video, bought a couple more houses, in the process of getting one of them done, have somebody come and buy. I would love to, and in the past what I've done is put a lot of money into these properties, made them super nice, and there's a lot to be said for doing it like that. However, when they sit for months and months and you could rent them out, even if you're getting below market rate, but you have cash flow coming in, because the property costs you if it's sitting. And some people go, oh man, I paid cash for it, it ain't costing me a dime. Well, it is, okay? Because every month that you don't get revenue on that, that's money that's lost that you never get to go back. I never get to go back and relive July 2024. It's gone, it's done, it's history, okay? And the reason I have rental properties is to make money. I'm not the Red Cross. This ain't no charity. I ain't trying to be, Johnny Good Guy or anything of that nature. I'm providing a quality product for them, but I also need to get paid for that because there's expenses that are incurred from owning these properties. So I got somebody coming by to take a look at the property. I told them, said, hey, look, it's been, 40 years since I did anything with it. It's heavily dated, but the roof is good. It's got, washer, dryer, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, central heat and air. Everything works on it. It's just dated. And they're like, let me come take a look at it. So, I learned something from a lady that works for me, Carla. I had a unit and it was in rough shape. And I did not want to rent it. And these people wanted to rent it. And she told me, she said, look, just because you won't live there doesn't mean somebody else won't live there. Well, she was right. And, those people have been in that property for almost 2 years. So that would have been 2 years worth of rents that I would have lost out on had I not listened to her and followed that suggestion. So, you can learn lessons from anywhere. Don't be so arrogant not to have an open mind. That's all I got for today. I hope you're doing well. Tell me about your successes. What is it that you're looking to do? Leave it in the comment section. And if you want 15 minutes of my time, send me an email. Include your phone number. I will give you a call. It's free. The best way to do that is to have your questions written down so that we don't waste any time on the phone. Hope you have a fantastic day.